Dude, this thing's nuts. It's like, look at, you can just like creep on these cops right here. Now who's creeping on who? Usually it takes me about an hour and a half to prep all the gear in the morning before I go out skating. And the first thing I usually build is the shot over, and that usually takes about an hour to build that whole thing. Just put it in here. This is like my gym routine right now. Okay. A lot different than throwing a VX1000 in a backpack. So this is the shot over. This is a gyro stabilized camera system that was made to go underneath a helicopter. And my buddy made me a mount, and this is like the very first shot over that's been mounted on a cinema vehicle. It took a second to figure it out. At first I had it like on the roof of a truck, but it felt really slow for some reason. And then the next thing I tried was on a cinema vehicle that had a techno crane and an articulating arm, and we could actually put the shot over on that and move it around, which felt good, but it was really complicated. And if anyone knows skateboarding, you need something down and dirty and fast. And that's when I was like, man, I'm just gonna mount this thing on my truck. When I finally got this thing up and running, this whole other world opened up where I was like, whoa, like, this film's gonna be a little different.
Yeah, buddy! Ah!
This is the tilt axis, pan axis, and then rolls back there. It just has a Red Dragon inside here, and then a Canon 3300 lens, and then some heated motors, do zoom, focus, and iris. The guys that built some of these camera systems never imagined we'd be using them the way we're using them, let alone making a skateboard film. This is supposed to be a camera system that's underneath a helicopter, but now it's like on the front of a vehicle and we're ripping down the street chasing Omar Salazar. I think when I first started doing all this stuff, it was so overwhelming. I was like, how am I even gonna do this? And over time, this stuff has become second nature and so much easier. It's like, I can build all the gear, grab all the cameras, and be out, meet someone at a spot. And I have gone out by myself. I've drove this van and had the shot over controls right here and like filmed tricks by myself. I wouldn't recommend that, but yeah, it's doable. All this takes a lot to power it. I actually have a generator strapped to the roof. So I run a cable out of the generator in here and that powers all that. All right, just up and running. I swear this place feels like a rental house. It's so overwhelming. And you know what's crazy is I didn't used to have these shelves in here. All this stuff started like right here, and then it got bigger, 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 and this stuff like went up to the roof. And I'd come in here and I would just yell, ah, like so pissed, like, where is this? Like throwing stuff. Like, this is a Red Epic, and this is the staple of what we've used throughout this whole film. See how there's like a ding right there? I think this camera was on the remote control helicopter when I crashed it. So I knew going into this film we were definitely going to use a lot of remote control helicopters. You know, luckily we teamed up with some really great people, you know, Free Fly Cinema and then Intuitive Aerial. You know, I learned to start flying these things, and I'm okay, I can fly them, but it's like there's so many things you got to check and balance, and especially when you're trying to like film skateboarding and do all these other systems, where that one's almost better to like leave to the remote control helicopter guys, because it looks so awesome, but there's a lot of stuff to go wrong, and the consequences are really bad if something goes wrong. There's these ditches out in these hills that I knew about, and I brought Omar Salazar out there. Omar's awesome. I love Omar, and he was just like, your flying saucer's gonna follow me? Like, this is awesome. Like, he was so stoked on it, you know? So I'm gonna go bomb the hill down these ditches and all this stuff, and then I would be on my board flying the remote control helicopter behind him, kind of like dragging my foot, like looking up in the sky, whoa. And then Justice is next to me on his board doing the camera gimbal. And it was a really windy day. And granted, I'm not the best pilot. And long story short, I flew into a tree.
Did you get it?
I remember I saw it going towards a tree and I was like, oh! And it's like I'm almost like using my body, like trying to go this way, it's going that way, and just hits the tree like 50 feet up. Bam! Just lands in a ditch. And I was just like,
Fucking broke your red camera and your very expensive saucer. Are you fucking serious?
so anyways, I like looked at the camera, the lens was just busted off and there's like chips all inside of here, you know, there's like stuff on there, and I like blow it out, put the other lens back on, and then put a battery on, turn it on, works, got an image. I was like, all right, Omar, let's go. And I put it on one of the handheld movies, walk back up there, and then we get the line handheld with the camera that just fell 50 feet out of the sky. These things are tough. Right when I started making this film, this company Free Fly Cinema introduced a gyro-stabilized handheld system called the Movi. And so once these came out, this was like a totally different ballgame. I mean, think about it, for skateboarding, this is like the ultimate tool. All your rolling long lens and all the stuff we've been doing on our boards, it's like this thing stabilizes all that. Like, look at how stable it is, look at this. These handheld stabilized camera systems changed everything. You don't need a dolly track, you don't need a jib arm. It's like you look at the whole film, there isn't any of those like shaky dad cam shots. It's all like nice, really flowing shots. This camera is like the main camera I use for all the long lens stuff. It's obviously like a Red Epic. You have your big monitor, and then this is the lens, the Optimo 12:1, 24-290. You can get super long shots, close, tight, insane shallow depth of field. I don't know, man. This is the best lens ever, in my opinion. It's made by Ingenue. With something like this, there's no way you could do all this by yourself. You have to have people helping you. In order to do this, it's like I needed a whole team of guys. If I have one friend, my buddy JP, if something would break, he would straight up just unscrew it, look at it, resolder something. I remember one of the Movies went down and he just like unscrewed the actual box and components, and he was like, oh yeah, this cable came loose on the solder, hold on, and he like resoldered it there at a skate spot. That's the type of stuff you got to deal with doing all this. For me, it was like, okay, I have all this stuff. How do I make this work for skateboarding? And on a traditional set, you would take all of these Pelican cases, and all the cameras and lenses and gear and accessories are in these cases, and then you put them in like huge cargo vans, and then you show up to the spot, and you pitch a tent, and you grab all this stuff, and that's like your home base, and you put a table there, and you start building all the camera stuff. There's no way you can do that on a skate session. I gotta streamline the hell out of this. Obviously, every skate van has one of these, but like I measured this specifically for this setup, you know, the Red Epic with the 12:1 lens and the matte box. So I can actually fit two of these in right here. It'll close nice. I wrap them up with these blankets, boom, boom. Two of those fit there, all the bags fit there. 3 generators fit in here, miscellaneous stuff here. All the tripods and stands go there, generator there, chargers go in the middle, and then on the 2 front seats, seatbelt the 2 Movies, boom, boom, shot over on the front, and we are out. I think that's what's so cool about this film, is it's like using all these new tools and all this stuff coming together to form a different feel. There's parts of it that feel like a skate video, and then there's parts of it that feel like a straight up movie.